part of our recipe.
I'm assuming it's going.
And now we'll see how the new guy works. And we do need something to put it in. And here she comes. Ooh, that's nice. And looks like she's working fine. So we're going to take a break right now, and we're going to start making chunks of number 32, the only one to use. Builds good arms too.
You know, this thing records sound, so don't pass any gas.
Well, guys, this is just for Florida Sportsman members, so it's a secret. 1, 2, 3. Alrighty, folks, we have our moderator, Larry Wittowski, and he's going to explain a few things.
Larry Witt.
Oh, sorry, Larry Witt. Too much wine.
Basically what we're going to do, I use Purina. It's actually tropical fish food, but it's phenomenal for using it as a chum filler. The other thing that really works good, and you have to put plenty of it in there, is oatmeal, which really expands. And the nice thing about oatmeal, it really absorbs all the flavors that you have in here. And the bucket I'm working on is basically all ground up frozen shrimp that hasn't been used. So when we go fishing, we never throw the shrimp away. We save it. And no matter how old it is, it always can be mixed in to make more chum. It's incredible. It takes time, maybe half an hour once you're out there.
What are you mixing there, Larry? It looks awful watery.
It is watery, and the reason it's watery is because the oatmeal has not swollen up yet. Sometimes the oatmeal, we would let it sit for an hour or two. You know, like when you make oatmeal for breakfast.
What's the water in there?
Salt water.
Ah.
That's another thing. Don't use tap water. It has chlorine, other fillers. It's just not natural for them. So salt water is what you really want to use. And if you're at home and you're on well water and you want to just add salt, you can, but it's not as good as actually using salt water. And also, because it's salt water, when it's frozen, it freezes at a much lower temperature. And that's a bonus, because then it'll stay longer. And try not to move that around too much, because then you get this herky-jerky look. Okay.
My hands are steady as a rock.
Yeah, okay.
And now we got
more oatmeal going
more oats going in.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal filler, because all this is going to be just shrimp flavored. Maybe not the shrimp you get at your local restaurant, but fish like it.
So that's not the chum at all, really.
No, this is the chum filler. The chum is everything Frank was mixing here. And then what we'll take is we'll mix the two together, but we'll let this kind of steep for a while. And then we mix the two together and dole it out into separate containers and freeze it. And we use coffee cans or any container that you can use, something that you can recover, because you don't want a bunch of plastic things floating out there. So it's got to go in a chum bag. There. So now that's just going to sit for a while. And when the fun comes up, we're going to mix the two of them up.
And we'll be right back. I'll let Larry tell you what I'm doing, because I'm going to be involved.
Basically, it's the merging of the two brews that we made. One is the oatmeal and the cat food and the dry chum that we mix together, which is a Purina. And this is the ground up fish. Ground up, well, you name the fish we had, and it's ground up. And that is a real slurry. I think we came out in one big glob. Now, the next step would be merging the two and stirring it together so that we get a kind of a nice homogeneous mixture. All in the pursuit of catching those little rascal snappers or grouper. And it does work. Now, Frank's a hands-on kind of guy. I prefer to use a little shovel or a little trowel. Frank mixes it like he's mixing dough, throws a little all over on the ground. But, you know, we have to be patient with him. Okay. The grunting is optional. I don't know if it makes the chum any better, but
oh yeah,
Frank does it a
you
lot.
might want to take a look at this. It's almost appetizing.
Well, that's a matter of opinion.
Come on over here, Larry, have a glass of wine. Well, we had about what? 50? 60?
Oh, maybe between probably 45 to 55 pounds of chum maybe.
Yep.
Yep.
Couple of trips out, catching some bait. Usually what you throw away, we kept. Make some chum every once in a while.
Yep.
Saves you a lot of money. Now the only thing, how do you use this chum?
Me? I basically use little amounts until I find out where the fish are at. And once we find out where the fish are at, then it's game on. And we change the program. More chum, up and lower.
So you run more than one?
At times, yeah. If we're trying to get pelagic like kings or cobia coming through, we'll run one high and then we'll run one at the bottom. And just little at a time and chunking in between.
Not bad, not bad.
Now, primarily for me, my target species would be snapper. Mangrove snapper, yellowtail snapper, and believe it or not, this year we actually caught
Mutton?
Mutton snapper. Biggest mutton, 24, 25-inch mutton snapper.
About a 7-pounder.
Yes. Light line, light leader, 10-pound monofilament. No, not monofilament, fluorocarbon. Number 2 size hook. Well, here's another good day making chum, Frank. So long, pal. Whatever.